Lights, cameras, action. Hi everybody. My username on YouTube is PrettyPunk123. PrettyPunk123. Um but my real name is Morgan Ridgway. And I have been thinking about a lot of things recently. I've been watching a lot of TV and film. But what's even more important to me than TV and film and things is like real world, real life experiences. So I've had a lot of time to think and to think over the thinking and to overthink the thinking of overthinking, and so many words just to say I've been thinking a lot. And then I was realizing that I've met so many famous people, and even if it's only 3 people that I can recall, I'm sure that I run into everyday people that are not necessarily public figures or actors or actresses or anything, but I still run into these people. And so I'm trying to make sense of that. And I will tell you a little bit about my stories and my experiences, and then maybe at a later date and time, or maybe perhaps in this video, I'll explain or try to explain like my experiences and what my feelings about those experiences. So whatever I leave out in this video, it should be posted in the next video. But anyways, okay, so my most recent public figure or like celebrity that I actually met was Mark Ruffalo. He visited the 710 Memorial Boulevard in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which was at the time when I was employed there, Goodwill Industries in Middle Tennessee. And basically he was overweight, and I did not know anything. I hadn't really seen anything of Mark Ruffalo's since like the Hulk and everything. I grew up and I could really relate to the Hulk character because I was always such like, I don't want to say angry person, but I just got a temper and things like that. So I really always like remember buying, when I worked at PetSmart and stuff, I bought my like little dog Carmen at the time like a Hulk shirt. And I remember like having these memories with Ben Bomar, which was like my first quote unquote love and stuff like that from church and everything. He was like the bad boy or whatever. But anyways, so I'm working at Goodwill and I'm having like lots of like episodes and stuff of like bipolar and schizophrenia, or what people deem as bipolar and schizophrenia. But I actually think bipolar is really just fancy words and terminology for saying that someone has anger issues. And so since I relate to that illness or diagnoses like bipolar, I refer to bipolar and schizophrenia for my own self-definition as just anger issues and resentments and unforgiveness and stuff. And so, long story short, I've been like working on these things in my personal life, and a lot of that involves me staying at home, and I try to just not think a lot. So I'll watch films and TV, but then I can never escape this mind that I have. And so I'm always thinking, no matter what I'm thinking about, and even if I'm trying to like quote unquote run away from my thoughts and issues of my experiences in life, I just end up coming back to like positive things. And in the past, that was like a really hard thing for me to do, is like be positive, like because I've been through so many different injuries and things like that in my life that I won't describe or anything, but I've been through so many injuries that have just made my mood like agitated and in pain and constant pain. Like right now, my feet. I'm not going to go into specifics or like really any detail on that, but like I'm having trouble with that, my back, my head, stuff like that. But what I keep coming back to is like I keep running into celebrities. Like I ran into Mark Ruffalo at Goodwill during 2021 or 2022. He was a little overweight, but I still totally recognized him. And then I mentioned the Hulk, and I was like, "You look exactly like Mark Ruffalo." He was Mark Ruffalo. Like I fucking met Mark Ruffalo. I was standing like, it was during COVID, and we usually had those those clear like plastic wall things, but we did not have that then. And I saw him, and he's with this older lady, and I thought it was like his mom or his grandma or something. I don't really know, but I could have been wrong. But it was just so weird because I asked Copilot today. Today's Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, and it's a Tuesday. And I just asked Copilot, like, help me make sense of these things. Because I saw Mark Ruffalo around 2021 and 2022 at Goodwill Industries, 710 Memorial Boulevard in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is a Goodwill. And then back up to the year 2018, I was working at Bluefin, which is a sushi restaurant on Main Street in Memphis, Tennessee. I was working at Bluefin sushi restaurant, and lo and behold, Seth Rogen just walks his cute little ass in and fucking picks up sushi. And I'm like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. I was like farther away from him, but I'm just like sitting back and I'm like, how is this happening? And then back forward even further up, like farther away in time, which is more farther in the past, in like 2009 or something, I was at Kings Island with my aunt's niece. Anyway, somebody somehow related to my family, and like by marriage and stuff. I was with them at Kings Island Park, which is I believe it's in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm like, I saw Josh Hutcherson, and I was like, that was my first like celebrity or public figure encounter, and I walked past him and I recognized him immediately, and I said, God, if that's who I think it is, if that is Josh Hutcherson, please let me see him again in this park. And I saw him and we took a picture, and there's even someone photobombing, which if you don't know what that means, it's just someone in the background, like my hand, like this, and they're making a silly face like that or something, So they're photobombing me. But anyways, Josh Hutcherson and I touched facial structures, like cheeks and stuff. And I was like, I'm never gonna wash my cheek. Like, I was just joking and stuff. But like, that Josh Hutcherson encounter really started this thing within me that like, these people are everyday people. Like, in the past, before I met, like, Josh Hutcherson or Seth Rogen or Mark Ruffalo, I would have these thoughts to myself, like, oh, let's hail these people, let's lift them up and promote them because they're higher and better, or better people than me, or everyday people. But then, the older I got and the more I thought about it, I'm just like, these people don't want to be treated like that. On the surface level, sure, they might want to be, like, treated like that, but on the underground inner workings of it all, if I was them, I would want to be treated like an everyday person. I would want to be able to go to the Goodwill and not be recognized. I would want to go and pump my gas and not be recognized. I would rather live the life that I have now than that of a public person or a public figure or a celebrity or a politician, for that matter, anyone, because it just seems like life is better when you can live a normal life and do things for yourself and do your own dishes and your own laundry and eat your own food and not have to worry about someone poisoning it or someone, not picking out the right clothes or not washing your clothes the right way. It's like, so I said all that to say is like, I've been thinking about these occurrences and things like that I have experienced, and I'm like, basically, I used to, like, just take them for granted. Like, oh, I saw somebody, that's cool that I could say, oh, I saw Josh Hutcherson, oh, I saw Mark Ruffalo, oh, I saw Seth Rogen. But at the end of the day, these people want to be treated like normal human beings, and they want a normal life, just like I do. And so I can relate to them on that level. But when I was younger, I used to relate to them because I thought they were somehow better than me. And I don't want any of the names that I've said to be confused or misconstrued with any negative connotations whatsoever. I'm here to be very positive and to open up my awareness even further than what I've ever experienced before. So I'm just here to talk about this because it's like I said, like aforementioned in this video, I asked Copilot, I'm like, what should I think about my experiences? Like, because those things aren't just occurring to me and happening like for no reason. Like, I used to, when I was very younger, I used to just freak the hell out about every little thing because I thought, like, every single thing is connected. It could be me dropping a pen or me inhaling and puffing this vape right now. It's like all of this in my mind. It wasn't just me inhaling a vape cigarette. It wasn't just me dropping a pen on the floor. It added up in my mind in the past. This was my way of thinking. Is like, it all meant something, and it was happening for this higher purpose and this higher reasoning. And I felt like the weight of that with everything, whether it was something that someone else was doing or something that I was doing or was or wasn't doing, it's like I could feel that. And so that in and of itself was like super duper stressful. It's just like the pattern of disorganized thinking and overthinking, and the disorganized pattern of overthinking. It's like it was just killing me, so to speak. And I am trying to appreciate like the life experiences that I've had, even though they're not what I have always wanted my life to be. All these experiences I have, I think I can learn from them somehow, some way, some shape, and some form. And some way, somehow, in some shape, and in some form, I could create things that actually help people. And the way that I look at it now is I'm not doing it to help other people, because on the surface level, everyone wants to be famous. On the surface level, everyone wants notoriety. On the surface level, everyone wants to be rich or wealthy and have lots of things, objects and subjects in life. But the real thing of it for me is like, I don't want that, because like I want that on the one hand, but on the other hand, I do not want all those things, because with all of those things comes much more responsibilities in life and much more organized ways of thinking and more organization and more like budgeting and more thoughtfulness and more value and more like all of these words that I could just semantically throw out there just so that I could try to describe this, but it's actually really tough to describe it. Is like, these weren't just occurrences that just happened to me. Like, I didn't just randomly meet these people, and I like, in my mind, I never wanted like the notoriety, and I thought of like the notoriety, and I thought of the fame, and I thought of the fortune, and I thought of all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I was like, oh, I just want to change the world. I want to change other people's perspective. Then I really, really got to thinking, and I was like, hell, I can't freaking change anyone. Like, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, that is all an illusion. You know, if someone says, oh, I come to you and I'm going to pray with you, and I say the sinner's prayer over them or some kind of scriptures, or I say, oh, God bless them and help them. It's like, I'm never going to be able to save that person. And no matter what I say or do or how they could relate to me, or how I think I could relate to someone else, it's like, at the end of the day, we're all individuals and we're responsible for our own personal individual growth. And I don't know, this kind of ties in or intertwines or intermingles with the topics of like me and like Christian religiosity and media and filmmaking and stuff like this, because I was like, okay, hell, here we go. Here's the perfect solution. I want this, I want that, but I don't want all of the like public persona that comes with like notoriety or fame or fortune or anything. I don't want people to interact with my life any more or any less, perhaps a lot more less than they do already. So if I don't really like people and stuff, but I still have this creative like mind and like anyone else, but if I have a creative mind that I want to express and use and like do something with all my experiences and somehow overcome these experiences by expressing myself in media or in films or short films, anything that I want to make, I've got to network myself and put myself out there. But the whole reason I'm saying all that is to say, I thought that I was just going to like put myself in this pretty little box with a nice little bow and call it Christian religion media. And I thought like, you know, after journalism school at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro and stuff, and I also attended in the past University of Memphis, Southwest Tennessee Community College, like different places, but specifically when I was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, from 2019 to 2022, I was like thinking about this fame and notoriety and all this stuff so much. And I was like, in that time, I was like, hell yeah, I want this. And then the more I got to thinking, like I said earlier in this video, I was like, hell no, I want to live a normal life, and I don't want to be like my life is bombarded or intruded upon by people, especially other people I don't know or like. And it doesn't matter whether they hate me or they love me. I just don't want people unnecessarily coming up to me when I'm doing like everyday people things, so to speak, like going to the grocery store, pumping my gas, going shopping at the Goodwill or other stores and retailers and stuff like that. So I was thinking, again, I'm reiterating all of this so much so to like say my point is that I thought like the solution to that, and somehow that I could still express myself and somehow I could still work through my traumas and my experiences in life, was to just simply go into Christian media and like use all this code language and just be this goody two shoes persona of a Christian life. And then I really got to thinking about that, and I was like, that's kind of like living a double life, because even though I'm promoting this image or this idea of myself or this persona of myself as a good, upright, standing citizen who talks about God and stuff, I was like, I really like evaluated myself and what I was trying to like think about. And I came to the conclusion that I can't change people, and also telling my personal stories of things like that I've been through doesn't really help anyone. And if anything, it would cause more bad people in the world to like learn from what I'm like telling and stuff. And so I don't know, I just have this like yearning to like mainly just change my life. Like that is the only thing I've come to the conclusion, that I can only change my life. And so I want to use art and things, and creativity and expression, and I need to get over these things. And so I think I'm just gonna end up making like immature, sucky ass films and in my own scripts and stuff and my own books, and like I think that's somewhere to start, because I'm sitting at home and stuff like that, and I think the script has to come from my heart, and it has to come from my experiences. It has to be real. It has to be portrayed like exactly, almost identical to how these things actually occurred, and like my memories. Because then once I get them on film, even though I've never, for the most part, gotten any of my actual experiences on like actual camera film per se, but it's like if I were to recreate these things, like these reenactments, these dramatizations, this film world, it's a lot. There's like code languages and code words and like mannerisms and expressions and like all these things that indicate messages and meanings to other people, and I'm still learning about that. And so for me, I think this relates to it, but just some things I would like want to work on is just waking up every day and doing something productive or something that I love to do. And I think I don't really want to write a book right now, and I would rather just make scripts and stuff like that of each individual occurrence and stuff, like, and then like make a script and then like write down characters that I would want to play the film and stuff like that. And like, it's crazy as it sounds, if I actually make that stuff happen, a lot of the stuff in my life, I just have the idea and then I cannot necessarily execute that idea, and then I project my ideas into the world, or I just think them a lot, and then I see other people execute and delegate jobs and things to other people, and they come together as a team and they work on these things, and then they make what I originally thought of as an idea like a reality. They put their own twists and turns and edits and footage and all that stuff in it, but like a specific thing, like I like to take credit for it even though I'm uncredited, but there's a lot of things in the world that are uncredited and stuff. Like I was looking at Mark Ruffalo's IMDb page, and he got supposedly uncredited for like one of his films, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, like I had to start somewhere and you have to work your way up, and I hate that. But the thing is, I have this idea that I'm going to be like I'm not gonna have to do the things that other people do, not because I'm more or less special than anyone else. It's just I have put this into the multiverse, into the universe, into the earth, into the world, is like, into my heart, is like, I'm not gonna have to quote unquote like sleep my way up to the top. I'm not gonna have to quote unquote do rituals or like synchronizations with evil or things that are bad just because I'm expressing experiences that are bad that I've been through and I've survived. So it's like I want to get the dirty, like everything, like out, all my dirty shit out in the public, and I want to just relieve myself and take this burden, this heavy ass burden, and heavy ass burdens, plural. I want to get them off of my, like, back, and I want to get them off my shoulders and off my head and off my whole body. It's like, and I just have to, I've been thinking about this for so long, is just write the shit down. And it's like, well, no, because my dad, he will, like, take everything that I've got. Like, there was this notebook that I had, and I used to write songs and, like, poetry and, like, and journal and stuff a lot. I used to do that. But over the years, I have noticed, just rummaging through their house and our house, because I live here, but, you know, I've been rummaging through things, and I find, like, he's still got all that stuff. And I think that's, like, good on the one hand. Like, it shows that they care enough to keep it. But I feel like my privacy has been invaded for a reason that, those were my writings, that's my poetry, those are my songs, those were my feelings at that time that I hand wrote, that I documented, and now they're in someone else's possession? Like, come on now. Like, so I feel like this vulnerability with creativity and art and expression, it's not just this easy thing that just, it is, on the one hand, this easy thing that just flows through you, but on the other hand, it is something difficult. It's like a movement. It's like, not to be gross, it's like a bowel movement. It's like, or like a woman who's pregnant in labor. I mean, that's the most typical Mark Twain shit that you could ever hear. Like, the quote unquote great whore of the Revelations, like, has a baby, and all the freaking earth turns black and dark as Sabbath or whatever. Like, I don't know, it's like, I need to express myself, and I just feel like, I told myself, like, okay, I'm waiting on this disability, I've only got a couple more months, like maybe 2, until July 4th, I applied for disability on November 16th, 2024, so 2024, I applied for disability. In 2025, I should, hopefully, God willing, be approved for disability. So once I get this disability, I'm gonna believe it or not, I'm actually going to move my fucking ass out of the Ridgeway residence where I currently reside, and I'm gonna get somewhere where I feel like I can write things down or do things like that. But in the meantime, I still want to create things, and I still want to do things. So I'm talking out loud here. I'm trying to figure out and visualize and try to, like, think about how I can still get some progress done, and stuff like that. And so the first couple things that crossed my mind is like, hey, people codify things. As I said earlier in this film, or in this motion picture, in this video, whatever, I could codify things. So, like, instead of saying Carter, Kimberly, or Spencer, or Morgan, or Bentley, or Carmen, I could say, you know, just random names and stuff like that. Or I could have all of the initials be the same, but they all have different names and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like me honestly saying, like, I'm gonna wait until I move out to do these things is just like a waste of time. I feel like I should be doing them now. And so I guess that's the real true reason why I'm making this video. But I'm also making this video because I was going to read the conversation I had posted on Facebook. I was going to read the conversation of, like, that Microsoft Copilot and I had about these, what Microsoft Copilot calls synchronicities, if you will, of these public figures or celebrities that I've met. And so, before I even get into the conversation with Micro Copilot, I do have to go to the bathroom, but I also wanted to say, like, every single person that I met that I thought was a public figure, every person that I met that I thought was a public celebrity and all these things, that actually wasn't their true name. And so I said this when I was watching something of, I think, Drew Barrymore's films, or I was watching something or another about half a year ago, and I just thought to myself, like, that is not the name. When they say Drew Barrymore, that's not the name that her mom or her dad was yelling at her growing up. That's just the name that the public is aware of that belongs to this image of the person. So like for me, my name and my image, even though it's not really my name, but it's been associated with my image, is Morgan Taylor Ridgway, and they commingle. It's like, that's not even my true name either, because I never signed up for one. And so I'm not going to get into the whole victim schmickdom slow-mo kind of bullshit that conversation could take us to, but I'm focusing on that for a reason that it's like, I have this idea of what I think Mark Ruffalo, or what Seth Rogen, or what Josh Hutcherson is, or what Laurie Crouch, or what, Paul Crouch, or Paul Crouch Jr. I have these ideas or perceptions, but they're not reality. And so it's kind of hard, because I hate to just throw out scriptures and holy verses and things like that, but I really relate to it, because it's like, nothing is as it seems. Like, I don't know, it's like, only the name that is written on my forehead in my mind could I associate with. So like, all these ideas in my mind are bigger than the name Morgan Taylor Ridgway. It's like, all of the films and everything that I associate with someone like, Mark Ruffalo, it's like, that's not Mark Ruffalo. That's not his real name. Only his real images and thoughts and experiences in his own individual life is his. So like, I could, speculate on anyone else's lives, whether it's my own parents' lives who are not public figures and who are not celebrities, or someone who is a public figure or deemed public celebrity or anything like that. It's like, it makes no difference, because we're all just regular people. So that kind of ties in full circle to the four square deal, or the four square punch, or the fair deal for all, is that I have kind of came down from the clouds and just said, like, we're all human beings, and so I should not elevate anyone, including myself, above others, because that will draw people like that to me. So I don't know, I go through these stages where I'm extremely obsessed with people or things or places or experiences that either I or have had personally, or that I've witnessed in other people's lives. And I don't know, like, I think that I could tell other people's stories, not the way that they would, but I could tell other people's stories and still have a way or a shape or a form of expression, of creativity and things like that. So I think maybe for now, something that's not so personal, like, I want to see if I can be a good storyteller, regardless of whether I'm telling my own experiences or some version thereof, or whatever, what have you. So anyways, I also just want to say thank you for the rain in Memphis, Tennessee. I had made a video. My family and I are growing like collard greens, cauliflower, peppers, carrots, onions, beans, tomatoes, like potatoes, like sweet potatoes. I mean, we're growing everything. Cucumbers. And so, I mean, the rain in Memphis, Tennessee has, like, that may be a story of old, but it is fresh, it is new, it is current. It's like, and it is stable, and it's here to stay forever, is the fact when people request for rain, or when they request for things that they really know and want and truly desire, things happen. And so things can shift for me. But I just have this idea that I have to be in a Christian box or a secular box. And I feel like there are, in truth and in reality, there is no such thing as boxes or limitations and stuff like that. So I watch these actors on actors things. I watched one with Jamie Foxx, Tom Hanks, Adam Sandler. Who else was there? Did I say Jamie Foxx? Jamie Foxx, Adam Sandler, Tom Hanks, Danny DeVito, and Shia LaBeouf, and maybe like another person. But I've watched I've been watching I don't know, I kind of made this video too because I'm going through an obsession with these like actors, but I think I need to have an obsession with myself more so than I have an obsession with these actors and these people that I met. But I just keep going back to this stupid idea like it happened for a reason, it happened for a reason, it happened for a reason, like. And then, the Christian like celebrities that I met, like Lisa Harper in Murfreesboro when I was living there, and I went to that, what's it called? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, it was Bel-Air Baptist Church. That's how I remembered it. I was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Church. So next to my apartments at the time at the Grove, it was called, my apartments, where I went to this retreat or whatever for women, and it was in this Baptist church called Bel-Air Baptist Church in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Lisa Harper was there. And so like I was obsessed with Lisa Harper, major Christian like celebrity, and then I really got to thinking, like I said earlier in the video, I was like, being a Christian person might be my end-all be-all thing. At the time I was thinking that because like for a reason that I could still live everyday life and nobody would really know who I am, because the Christian community is so niche and so particular, and not a lot of people are doing things in the film. They're not making good films. All of their Christian films are like cheap, corny, just sadomasochistic like fucking films, even including Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. Like it's all like just so and so it's like I was trying to just talk myself through this, and I'm gonna go to the bathroom, so we'll see. I'm gonna like blur this out. So I'm gonna put you in the bathroom and I'm in man's underwear. Look at my thighs. Tornado watch. Okay, but like, blood. But this is kind of off the topic a little bit, but I mean it's on topic since I just showed you. But I think that if I get denied, here's my plan. If I get denied for disability, and this is like, I don't know how many times this has been that I've applied or whatever, but I think this is my second time I've applied. If I don't, God forbid this happen, but if I do not get approved for disability this second time, I am going to go to a doctor that I can write an affidavit to, AFFIDAVIT. It was Danny DeVito. That's how I remember that. Danny DeVito. No, he wasn't in the Actors on Actors thing. But anyways, it is not normal. It is the opposite of normal that women bleed out of their vaginas. And so much of my life, I just thought this was quote unquote normal for me to bleed out of my vagina and be in so much excruciating pain. So one of my first ideas that I know no one is going to steal from me, that I want to implement, that I would like to execute in a very tasteful and truthful way, is I would like to make something about menstruation or periods or blood coming out of vaginas, in other words. And I want to normalize the thought process that it is the opposite of normal to have blood coming from an orifice or a body part or anything like that. Like I was watching during about 2019 or 2020 or 2021 or 2022, one of the things, probably around 2021, when I was working at Goodwill Industries in Middle Tennessee State University, I was watching something about how this documentary, one of a propaganda of sorts, of how women in Africa could not go to work, allegedly, supposedly, and perhaps in reality could not go do normal things because blood was coming out of their vaginas or their private parts. And so, that's one of the first things that I can maybe write about, because like I am experiencing this. I can relate to it. I know other people can relate to it, and it's also a new perspective on an old topic, which is blood coming out of your body. And I don't know. I just feel like that is something that, no, I want to develop things and ideas. I don't want to just copy everyone else and what I've seen in film and stuff. Because they say, don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry or starving or your tummy's growling. And the same is true, I feel like, for film and media and television and streaming and all this shit. Is that if I just watch a lot of stuff, and I never practice writing scripts, or I never practice making film, it's just a waste of my time, because I'm just looking at other people's ideas, other people's executions, and other people's varieties and explanations of said experiences, fact, fiction, or true or false. It's like, it's just not good enough for me. So I want to be behind the camera. I want to be behind the pen or the ink that's on the page. I want to be behind the ideas that are executed with determination. I want to not just only provide good film footage and good words and good actors or actresses. It's like I want to portray these feelings, these experiences onto other people for like good though, like not to make them feel bad or stuff like that, just to make them feel like it could experience my experiences even if they've never experienced that. But I also would like to get into water. I've already said this on my YouTube channel before, but I would like to get into water conservation, water topics, water MLG and W, going into their water, having interviews. Like, my thing about learning and experiencing is exactly what Mark Ruffalo, and exactly what I think. I cannot say for sure, but I can say this for sure from my perspective, is that Mark Ruffalo was not just in that Goodwill that day to fucking come in and buy some scrappy ass clothes. I'm telling you, he was there from my perspective and from my experience. He was there to not only just be there and for me to see him, but he was there to view people like me in their natural habitat, in their natural environment. Even though work is, not always natural for people per se, but it's almost unnatural. The person I am when I work, that's not me. It's like, I've always known that's not me. I'm very introverted. I don't like a lot of people. I like what I like, and I stick with that. And I like being comfortable, just like I'm sure anyone else likes to be comfortable. I mean, who really would like to be uncomfortable? But I feel like with the topic and the conversations that we're having of art, or of like recreating things, re-dramatizations, reenactments, film, amateur film, propaganda, news, anything social or anti-social media. It's like, it can be done. And it can be done with grace and etiquette and like, it could be done the way I want it to be done. And no, I'm not fucking washing my hands, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. So, that's just been, wow, that was like a lot of shit that I talked about. But, I don't know, I think I'm trying to motivate myself. I'm trying to do something a little different, because ever since I stopped working at Goodwill, Middle Tennessee, I just got really sad. Let's be honest, when I was working at Goodwill, I fucking hated it because I just had to interact with people so much. But then when I left Goodwill of Middle Tennessee, And I left college where I was living for 3 years in Murfreesboro. When I left MTSU, I like cried my eyes out. Like I had never cried or felt like, this is gonna sound so cheesy and shit, but I never felt like I found a family that just accepted me, like, as I was. Just, sure, I went through some things at work at Goodwill with, like, Taylor and Sherry and, like, the whole crew and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I learned a lot about management and, like, people skills. And not just management, just, like, you don't have to be titled manager to manage people or to influence them or to, like, get them to respond or get them to react. It's like you don't have to be paid more to actually have that. So I was viewing all kinds of stuff differently when I was working there, but I also just felt like at the same time, the only reason I really loved Murfreesboro and stuff is because I was semi alone, because I was living with roommates, and that just was no good either. Like I don't get along very well with other people because I don't trust other people. Other people have hurt me so much, whether they're people that are quote unquote like in authority figure positions or not. It's like I just had this flash of like experiences or ideas about these people, and I don't know, I just think that I need to express it, and I need to create characters and footage and words, and I just need to do. I think like the Nike logo or the Nike emblem or the words part is like, just do it. Like, do something. It's like, what is it? I don't know, but just do something. It's like, just been sitting here, and for really the majority of my life, just been like sitting here and thinking like, oh, this isn't the life I want. This isn't the life I want. This isn't the life I want. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of tired of thinking about life that way. Like, look at life and look what I have. Look at my life, look what I have. Look at my life and look what I have. Look at my life and look what I have. Look at my life and look what I have. Look at my life and look what I have. Look at my life and look what I have. I have not gone through everything I have in my whole life up to this point of age 30, or supposedly age 30. It's like, I have not gone through all this stuff just to like sit here and mope and complain and like talk over and over and over again about what's happened to me or what has or hasn't happened to me. It's like, I just want to do something about it. If I don't like my living situation, I want to get, hopefully, God willing, that disability money and just get the fuck out. And then I'll go from there. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for disability, it's like, I just want to catch up on what I feel like has been lost time for me. Is like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time I spend in the media or on Facebook or social media or Instagram, it's like such a waste of time. I feel like I have invested so many ideas into the earth, into the world, whether I publicize them or not, whether I just thought them privately or I put them out publicly. It's like, there's so much things that's happening, and I'm a part of it. And so if I'm indirectly a part of it, which means I'm not, in the role behind the camera, if I'm not doing those things, but I still came up with the idea, that's still a contribution. That's still influenced how someone else perceived my thoughts and how they implemented it and how they executed it. All the dynamics and all the variables and all the different, things. So, I mean, I guess the real question is like, why? Like, why, when I read the book Uglies, why did I read the words off the book? Why did I read the book and I imagined in an elevator, like when I was reading the scene, how could I just imagine that in my mind as a kid? Like, how could I take words, just make make an image in my head if I've never seen something before. So that was like, at an early age, that was like, I never knew that was like something. I don't want to say the wrong words, because when you say the wrong words, it just doesn't match with the mannerisms or with my feelings. But there's no right words to express why that happened to me. And I'm not saying that other people can't do that. I think everyone can do it, but that does not necessarily mean it's trivial. It's like really hard to like be creative or imagine things, or to like want to learn more words and or meanings to words or context to words. Or I don't know, I remember reading books when I was younger and just really getting angry and frustrated with myself that I didn't know what the words meant. And so I just try to understand everything the words meant. And I try to I do the same thing in life, is like, I try to understand why people make the faces they do, or why they do or they don't do things, or why they move in certain ways, stuff like that. And I try to categorize that and organize that in my brain and remember. And it's just so much to remember. And I just went through a major pit of sadness. And I was just thinking to myself, if I'm a computer, which I am, if I'm a computer, I don't want any more memory space. I don't have room. It's not that I don't want more memories or more important things in my mind, but it's gotten an overload. I can't organize it so much anymore. It's because there's so much information jumbled up in there. And I just think that using excuse me, using technology and using art or writing or words or for anything else that I could come up with even is more spectacular than the typical. But anything for that matter is going to help me move through these experiences. That way I could just have that closure, and I could still think about those things. But when I think about those things, it's going to be positive, because I'm going to have something, a creative work of art, something made in my image, something made in my ideas, something made in my words, something made with the people I want and there and stuff like that. And I think that the world, universe, multiverse, whatever you want to call it, planet, space, I don't know, it wants me to be, I'm telling you, it just wants me to be so particular, so specific, down to the very exact words, the exact faces, places, people, where I want to film, everything. The world wants me, not because I think I'm some fucking gift to it, but I'm saying from my perspective, from my individual life, the world is beckoning me to get very specific, and things are gonna happen that way. And that freaks me the hell out. I have been so scared of that, honestly, for my whole life. It's things actually happen the way I want them to. Even if I'm in a victim, woe is me mindset, I can still control this shit in any narrative, in any way, in any fashion, in any form that I want. That's crazy. That freaks me the hell out. That's crazy. That's psycho. That's I don't even have the words to reiterate or iterate or explain or say what any of it means. It's it's so but I know that the world wants me to do that, not other people. When I say the world, I mean something that exists wants me to do that, so that I can prove to myself that I can. Every time I was working at these places growing up with physical disabilities or physical ailments and physical injuries, I was still pushed through. And then I hear stories about my cousins or people that I know in my life, whether they're far in the proximity or closeness or location, whether they're close or they're far, whether I'm very close with them personally or not. I have awareness of not just people that I know, but other people that are going through the same thing, specifically with pain and with injuries and stuff like that. And I can't just hear their stories without reliving mine. So I just have to explain what my experiences are, the way it happened. And then on the other hand, part of the documentation film process or just what have you, overcoming trauma and overcoming bad experiences and good experience, overcoming these things is like, it's very intimate, it's very personal, it's like, it takes a piece with you, man. It's like, that's what gets me is like, I wanted to write Mark Ruffalo a letter, and I'm like, I'm not gonna send him a letter because they'll probably have some fucking FBI or some person analyze my handwriting. So I was like, okay, well, I could still write him a letter and like type it out. But like, then I thought to myself, well, even if they're not analyzing my writing, my handwriting, my script of sorts, they're still gonna like use the words that I did. I mean, that's all college was. We always journaled in middle school. I'm out Pisgah Middle School and all, and everywhere. And it's like, all that did for me ever in my past experiences, I do not anticipate the same to be true in the future, but I have to be real about it. Is in my past experiences, people like invade the privacy, whether it's a computer, whether it's personal writings or documents or pictures and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm just, the more I think, the darker of a place I go to. And at the same time, I'm also, the other half of me is like, just so up in the clouds, up in this idealistic ideas of ideas world where anything is possible. And it's like, I just feel like I'm trying to balance those or make sense of them or something. And it's like, you know, it's really about doing what I love. I feel like it's like, at the end of the day, you know, watching TV doesn't make me happy. I'd like to think it does, but it really doesn't. Watching people's films, it doesn't make me happy. I think it's about them doing things and that makes them happy. And you can't just slap a label or thought processes on all people, because that wouldn't, it isn't simply true for all people. But you know, I can't just make blanket statements like that or general statements like that and just say things, but I did. So I'm here, and I'm always subject to change and open and ideas and stuff. But I just have to remind myself, like, what I see in the media or on TV and stuff, that is, on the one hand, it's limitless, and on the other hand, it's like, it's so limited. It's limited in how it. I watched one of Mark Ruffalo's films, For This Much I Know, and he plays twins, and one is bigger, like more round, fatter, more, and then the other one isn't. And so, like, I was watching that film, and I was like, I wonder if Mark Ruffalo came to Murfreesboro to witness someone who is not right in the head, i.e., that is to say me, Morgan Taylor Ridgway. It's like, I wonder if that was his assignment, because the government or other groups of people, as I like to call them, not government because they don't rule over me, but it's like other groups of people, government, quote unquote government. It's like, did someone just inform him to come here? Whether he wanted to or not, somehow he's here. Somehow I knew it was him, Mark Ruffalo, even though he looked different than I had ever seen him before. And then also my participation in that, me just saying, is that, you're Mark Ruffalo, you're from the film Hulk and stuff like that. It's like, how do you label experiences or describe experiences that you have? If you know how to, it sounds so crazy, if you know how to describe with the right words or with the right expressions or mannerisms or facial movements or body movements, if you know how to do this, then I could explain this. I could explain my perspective and his perspective, but the truth of the matter is, I can only speculate or just say with, deductive reasoning or thinking. Just, I could try to think why he was there, but I don't know. All I know is why I was there. I was there at Goodwill, and I was in a tough place still. And it's like, everywhere I go so far, it's like, just bad shit would follow me. And I'm like, on the other hand, I'm blessed and I live a life that I would have never had if it wasn't for people that came before me. So it's like, It's hard to say you live a shit life when you're really blessed compared to so many other people, but that just because you're blessed doesn't mean that you should just not be good in life because you're at a different level. And that goes back to viewing different people in hierarchical structures and authority figures, or people who make, or quote unquote, more or less money. It's like we're just human. So it's like full circle back, full circle back to the top. We were just human beings. Like, I can't say for sure, but he wanted to shop at Goodwill that day because they bought something. He wanted to show up with a grandma. I can't just speculate and say his ass was in there to see my ass. I can't think that, because that would not be a humble way to think. That would be thinking highly of myself. I can't think highly of him. Oh, he was at the Goodwill because he's such a good person. He cares about charity, blah, 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 blah. I can't. That's all speculation. But what I can say is that he was doing something he wanted to do, and I was doing something I want to do. Or he was doing something he thought he wanted to do, and I was doing something I thought I wanted to do. Or whatever. I cannot just think of these things as perchance coincidences. I can't just do that. So I'm going to go into this. It's been almost an hour, I can't believe, but I've had very much fun explaining some of my thoughts, even if not all of them are to the average bear or to the average person coherent. Just drinking coffee here, and whoa, let's see. Coffee with creamer. Yeah, like, I'm going to read, God willing, let's see. I just asked Copilot, I said, why did celebrities or public figures visit me while I was at work? Around the year 2009, I met Josh Hutcherson at Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio. In 2018, I saw Seth Rogen pick up sushi from Bluefin on Main Street in Memphis, Tennessee when I was employed there. And then, in around the 2021 and 2022 era or year, I met Mark Ruffalo at Goodwill Industries in Middle Tennessee when I was employed there. I would say that this is lucky or perchance, or quote unquote perchance per se, but I think these coincidences mean much more than they may or might appear at first glance. Why would fate have it that I meet or run into these celebrities or public figures? So what does Copilot say to that? Copilot says, that's quite the streak of unexpected encounters. While it's easy to chalk it up to coincidence, sometimes these moments feel like they hold a deeper meaning. One perspective is that you've simply been in places when these celebrities happen to be, whether for leisure, work, or everyday life. But another view is that maybe there's a pattern to explore. For instance, locations matter. Places like Kings Island, restaurants, and even charity organizations like Goodwill tend to attract a wide variety of people, public figures and not public figures. But since we're talking about public figures and celebrities, they're just normal people too, and they enjoy places like that just like everyone else. Timing and what is deemed quote unquote luck. Right place, right time. I might have just been an uncanny knack for being where interesting things happen. Tennessee. Yeah. Personal significance. Personal significance. Maybe these encounters stood out because deep down they resonated with something important to me. Some people believe that reoccurring patterns in life, like running into famous people or seeing reoccurring things like, reoccurring patterns serve as little nods from the universe. Energy and attraction. Some people and some philosophies and some ideas and some ways of thinking suggest that certain experiences gravitate toward people with certain mindsets and energies. While there's no definitive answer, according to Microsoft Copilot on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, while there's no definitive answer, this is something fun and intriguing to think about and how to interpret the moments like that. And then Copilot asked me, they said, have these experiences influenced you in any meaningful way? I said, what are different ways to interpret these encounters? Microsoft Copilot says, these repeated celebrity encounters could have been seen in a few different ways depending on how you would like to interpret life's patterns. Here are a few different ways or perspectives of thinking about it. Pure coincidence, synchronicity or fate, symbolic meaning, attraction and energy, psychological pattern recognition, and then it goes on to say, you know, it says everything that we've already said, so we'll skip to the next thing. And I say, well, how can I apply these different interpretations to my life? And then Microsoft Copilot says, great question. So here's how you integrate these different interpretations and meanings into your life in the best way possible, hopefully. Embracing the synchronicity, finding personal symbolism, exploring opportunities, shaping my perspective, and deepening my self-awareness. And it says, ultimately, I interpret and apply my life and my life experiences, and whether I choose to, by my personal individual choice, whether I choose to entertain these ideas and experiences as fun coincidences or deeper meanings or significance, I still need to guide myself moving forward. And then Copilot asked me if these experiences or encounters were leading me toward anything specific. So I was just honest. I was telling them what I thought, and I just said yes. But I'm still not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that this is what I meant. I mean, this is what I said, so we'll just read it. Yes, so Microsoft Copilot again. Back up. Okay. Microsoft Copilot says, question, do you feel like these encounters are leading me to anything specific? I said, yes, I feel that I'm more drawn to stories, storytelling, film, and amateur filmmaking. I want to work with Mark Ruffalo and Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter. And Josh Hutcherson is simply attractive, but I have ideas of working with aforementioned public figures, Mark Ruffalo specifically, and Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter, and Johnny Depp. Well, and then they said, that's incredible realization. It sounds like storytelling and filmmaking are right up your alley. They're part of what fuels my creativity and passion, and the fact that I've already crossed paths with some of these figures makes it even more significant. So, if you want to work with Mark Ruffalo, Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter, or Johnny Depp, if this is something I dream of, then why not start laying the groundwork? And then Copilot continues on, saying, here's some ways that you can move towards goals. If that is your goal, then here's some ways that you can move towards those goals. Develop my filmmaking skills, network in film circles, like film festivals, industries, those film festivals that are less known, or they're for like amateurs, or they're for people who want to make films that are more truthful and more real than the shit they put in the mainstream media. It's like this conglomerate of like groups of people that make weird, deviant ass shit. Like, more deviant than Tim Burton. More deviant than the most scariest horror film or religious persona that I've ever seen. I want to make weird ass shit that almost makes you question, how is this being filmed? Or put on the public. It's like, not like that weird shit, but just like real, honest to God, no filter on it shit. But it's not the stuff that I'm seeing and stuff like that. When I watch films, sure, I'm inspired. Sure, I think about stuff. But when it comes to the deeper level and the meaning and symbolism and metaphors and analyses and all this kind of stuff, it's like, it's just, I want to make stuff, and then I want to be my biggest film critic. Like, I could care less if anyone ever watches anything I make. it's like, I think I just want to do this for not my full-time job or nothing, but I just want to do it to like get past ugly shit in my life and then maybe go on and make some happy movies or something. But um the world is a pretty scary place because there's just so much that I don't know, and it's even more scary that so much like crazy ass bad evil shit just occurs in everyday life, and I'm not really aware of it. And so part of me wants to have awareness of those things, but I've already experienced so many bad things. It's like the other half of me is like, oh hell no, I don't want to experience any more bad shit. I deserve, and I should choose to deserve, and I should choose to make that happen in my life is all the good things. And that's why I go back to this thing: Earth, God, whatever you want to call it, multiverse, universe, planet, planets, whatever you want to call it. My life, my experience, my choice says that I should be so specific. When I saw the little white dog, French bulldog, run out into the street, and it was trying to attack me, and it was trying to attack my dog, it got bam hit by a fucking car. That was not a coincidence. That shit, that stuff, that experience was real, and it happened, and it impacted me because I didn't want that dog to get hurt, but that dog was also attacking me. So it's like, that is the dichotomy, that is the duality, that is the nature of the darkness and the light, the good and the evil. Or it's more than those words. It's more than the good and evil. It's more than the yin and the yang. It's more than the light and the dark. It's more than the black and white. It's more than the gray area. It's everything. It's like, I don't even know how to try to explain or to elaborate on that, or to dictate, or not dictate. Dictate is like diction, diction. Dictate, I mean, it's not the context, it's not the word with, it's the right word, but it's just, no one's gonna understand it within that context. They're gonna think about Hitler or some shit like that. Bow down, hell. They're gonna think like that, but what I'm saying when I say dictate is diction, like words. But like, I don't know, I have these other experiences, and then I go into the mental hospital again at Lakeside, and then I meet all these crazy girls. Not crazy girls, but like, they're just like me, or I think they're just like me. And fuck. And then it's like, they're saying shit to me. And then like, someone comes up who looks like this other woman that I was looking at, and I was always thinking to myself, like, I want this individual to come up to me and to like talk to me and to like sympathize and empathize with me, like be there with me and for me and help me. But they never did in real life. That person never did, and they just so happen to be like someone who lives in my neighborhood and is really close in proximity and location to where I live. And so I had that very specific thought in my mind, and I just kind of put it to the back. It was just like a passing thought. And then all of a sudden, when I go to Lakeside Behavioral Health in Memphis, Tennessee, or Bartlett, Tennessee, it's like, one time I went in there for a whole month because I was like suicidal, and I was like hanging on a tree. I was grabbing a tree, and I had this noose around my neck, and I just thought to myself, this is so stupid. I want to die, but I'm not going to hurt myself and then still live. So I was going through a rough patch or whatever, and so I go into Lakeside for a month or whatever, and it's like, all these people had like dreadlocks like me, like natural. These are extensions, but I have like actual real dreadlocks and stuff, or as locks as I like to call them. But so they had all black people, white people, mixed people of all sorts and creeds, and all this stuff was in there. And like, this woman comes up to me, and she looks just like, when you look into the eyes are the gateway, man. And like, I looked into her eyes, and her eyes looked like that woman that I wanted to sympathize and empathize with me. I never did, and I wanted that person to help me because I thought that they could be almost like a mother figure to me, except more chill and more cool and more understanding and more loving than my mom was. or that my parents were, than my grandma or anyone ever known. I just thought, oh man, like she's close to me in proximity. If this relationship with her works out and she could be there for me and kind of mentor me and stuff like that, then that might make me happy or it might help me out a lot. But she just wasn't there for me like that. She was there for me in other ways and everything. And supported me at PetSmart and stuff when I was working there in the grooming salon, but not in the ways per se that I wanted. So flash forward to this experience at Lakeside, and like, there's this woman, when I look into her eyes, man, it looks exactly like that next door neighbor that I wanted support from, and I just thought, this is not a coincidence. Like, this did not just happen by chance. So she ends up just telling me things, but my thing is, I can't just let people tell me things. Whether it's good things, like, oh, you're the best, or you're the worst, or I'm the worst. You're the worst, Moria Taylor Ridgeway, you fucking suck. It's like, none of that matters. So it's like the praise and the accolation and the rewards, or what appears to be awards or promotions, is no different than getting berated and being torn down and being like, I don't necessarily equate them or make them equal, but on the surface level of things, it seems like they are the same. So that's not my ultimate end-all be-all conclusion, but I'm just saying, they were saying stuff to me, and I like, yeah, in the Bible it says like, oh, someone might plan their life, but other people plan it. I don't think that's true. I think other people can try to plan your life, but ultimately it's my choice on what I do with everyone else's words, or it's my choice on whatever I do in response to their actions or lack thereof. And it's like, but anyways, I'm just saying, it was weird that she was there, because she was telling me like, I'm gonna have to like invest and do things that I'm not used to doing, like investing in money and like knowing how money operates and like knowing how people work, which is really the same thing as money, because that's all that is. But it's like, she's telling me like I would have to do things like that and challenges, and I would have to be stronger than I've ever been. And then I just had another conversation with another girl, and I was like, I just randomly opened up to her, and I was like, I told her what I said earlier in this video in so many words so quickly. I try to like use the fancy words that no one knows, and I try to expand my vocabulary and my education and stuff like that. And I just thought to myself, like, that's how they got me. When I went to college, I went there because I was like, I want to be smarter than I am now, and I didn't come out like what I thought I would come out like, But I just told this other girl that was there with a really long, naturally wavy hair and like actual dreadlocks in the back of her hair and stuff. I just almost cried, and I was like, yeah, I've always just been like this girl. The second girl I'm talking about is like, she would just use normal words, and she wouldn't try to like sound all fancy and stuff, and like, I don't know, it was just, it exposed me to like a different way of like living life. Like, I don't know, there is some kind of thing about using certain words to like get people to understand you easier. But I always wanted to challenge myself. And so, but like looking at how I am now, I'm not challenging myself. And it just makes me upset with myself. But also sometimes when I get into things that are difficult in life, when I'm in those difficult places, it's like, hell, I don't want to be there. So it's like, it's like a conundrum. It's like this dual diagnosis of, I guess, living on Earth or something. It's just crazy. I don't know. I'm in so much pain, and that's not an excuse, but I've always been in pain, and like, I just feel like I honestly can't really get to the creative part that I want to be at until I'm by myself. And I just don't want to live here at my parents' house anymore. I just don't. And so if that's what I really want, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I feel like whether it's true or whether it's false, I don't know. But I feel like on the one hand, if I just start doing stuff that I enjoy doing, that stuff is gonna come together in my life even more better, even more improved, even more synchronous and in motion and like action and like I think that it's gonna happen for me. But the crazy thing is just saying like the word it, like insert the it clown. No, I'm just kidding. But it's weird to not have something defined. Like, I feel like I have to define it first before I actually make it happen. And for me, that is the most freaking difficult part. Is like, what do you actually want? Like, look at my freaking face. Like, what does Morgan Taylor Ridgway, or who I think is Morgan Taylor Ridgway, who is this unnamed image? Who is this unnamed image and body that has never been had a true name, that has never established itself or myself as anything? I've never specifically set forth, at least from what I can recall. Maybe I have and I just didn't realize it, but it's like, I can make anything happen. And that's just the craziest. I think that's the most profound, like, limitless, like, expansive, like, that's like this, it's like the coolest thing ever, but it's also the scariest thing, is that anything is possible. Like, that is this, like, end all be all, this, that's just what I'm scared of, and I don't want to be successful because I'm scared of it. And I don't really want to be like that anymore. It's not just about fame and notoriety and all these things. It's just being the best version of myself is what I'm scared of. Like, flash a wand, wave a wand, and I have all those things that I thought I wanted. It's still not going to be enough. I'm enough. The fact that I'm here and I went through all that bullshit experiences and good things, bad times, whatever, what have you, that's the whole point. It's not, I even have to do anything and then I get there. So that's basically a misconception, a myth, a lie, is that I have to do something to get better, or that I have to, I'm enough. Like, I'm enough. I'm perfectly fine with where I'm at. But the reason I want to excel, the reason I want to get higher, the reason I want to get better than I am now is because I can. And it would feel a lot more better. I don't know. It's just, those things did not just happen to happen. That lady at Cheddar's that came up to me, that was not a public figure, that lady that came up to me and tried to tell me some kind of weird shit, I don't even specifically remember, but she just tried to prophesy over me and shit like that at Cheddar's. And then when I hear about my cousin or whatever going through the same shit that I went through, it's just a vicious ass cycle. And the family trauma, the society trauma, the society experiences, and the individual experiences all collectively together and added together and meshed in together. It's like not something I'm happy or proud to be. It's not just on an individual level. It's at a collective whole view of the world and things. I don't like how it is. And I just want to be able to say that, and I want to be able to express that, and I want people, and I want to use the right words, whether they're really extraordinary, large, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious words, or they're just simple words like yes, no, him, hers, it. I don't know what it's gonna take, but like, if I'm very specific, like, oh, I want to see how long it takes this red light to turn green, and then I see two little bald, white ass, pale ass people, and they're counting and saying 1, 2, 3. I can make anything happen, but I also, you know what I also made happen? When I was talking too much, someone got mad that I was talking about my experiences, and so I got hurt because I talked about my experiences. So the only way that I feel like I can get my real life experiences and the truth out there is to just make it a movie, because people think on the one hand that movies aren't real, and on the other hand they like follow them and do everything that is in the movie, and like I don't know, it's so weird. But like my whole idea is that if nothing else, if I come away with nothing else from this conversation, I would just say this is like everyone is just normal. They're all on the same level. This idea or this notion or these notions that are these ideas that are saying these people are higher or better or richer or stronger or better, any of that is just bring it back down to earth. Bring it back down to earth. Bring it back down to earth. Because like it's just the truth. I can't ever think I'm better than anyone else, and no one is better than me. So that pretty much is hopefully just the key takeaway, is that don't put people on a higher ground than myself, and don't put myself on higher ground than anyone else. And I guess just always try to think what other people are going through, because everyone does everything for a reason. And also just remember that I cannot determine why someone else did something. Even if I try really hard, I'm never going to be able to be in their head or in their thoughts or their experiences at the exact time that they are. But what I can do is connect with them on a human level, and even if it's only on certain levels, I know that I can connect with other people. So I didn't say it was going to be easy, and I also didn't say it was going to be difficult or hard, but I just said, you know, it is as it is, you know? But if there's anything else that I came away with this, it's that if I want to work on something, I think the period, menstruation, blood coming out of your vagina, blood coming out of your private parts, I think that's a pretty good way. That's a pretty good somewhere to start. Because after watching, I mean, I can't just copy that documentary I saw years ago. So it's been many years since I've watched it, and I'm not going to watch any more propaganda on that. Because like I said, everyone thinks blood coming out of your private parts is normal. And it's not normal. It's fucking not normal. There's something wrong with the food. There's something wrong with something. There's got to be in the water. There's got to be all kinds of different factors and reasons and explanations. And FACTS on this shit, you know, on this stuff. So I think that is a good place for me to start, because I can be creative, I can write a script, and it's something that no one's going to want to steal. It's something that no one wants to talk about. So why not focus on the deviant, the different, the shit, the stuff that nobody wants to put my own spin on it, you know? So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. But, as far as like my personal stuff, and like I'm just gonna have to wait 2 more months until I move out, and then I need to be researching instead of watching stupid ass films and stuff every day and being obsessed with people that are in films and stuff. I should just make my own films and scripts and stuff, and then just have fun with it, you know? And I think mainly when you're creating stuff, it's just important to go off your experiences. Mainly that. And then when you incorporate other people's experiences and stuff, if it doesn't fit the bill, or if it doesn't fit my experience, then I can't really prove that it's true. So, I mean, I guess that would be like falsifying my experience when I add other people's perspectives in, on the one hand. On the other hand, is it expanding my thought process and experiences by opening the doors to other people. But fine balancing act on the telecommunications wires. Yeah. Anyways, I'm done. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Later, taters.